Hello, beautiful people. Let me use this opportunity to say happy new month. You're welcome to April. And of course, we are here to give you updates, trending updates. And what we are going to talk about today, it's not so pleasant, but well, we have to talk about it. You're welcome to another beautiful edition of News Updates. And of course, my usual co-host or guest is always available to me. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me again.
Welcome to News Trend.
I'm sure you must have read too where he was going when that happened. He was going for a fun thing, not as if he just emerged to pull up.
Truth is going through a lot.
Very dark man in the do man.
I never believed the day would come where I would sit here to share my story.
Okay, so like I said, what we're talking about today is not so pleasant, like it's really, but we need to talk about it. And I'm sure you know that I'm talking about the incident that happened at Uromi on Friday, where 16 people were burnt alive. That's jungle justice again, And from what we hear, we hear that they were suspected to be kidnappers, but like the law says, somebody is not guilty until proven. But they were suspected to be kidnappers because they had guns and with them, and of course they were from the northern side of the country, and they also had dogs with them, so they thought they were kidnappers. But these people were just hunters who were going home for the Salah celebration. They were just heading to go and meet their family and friends. These people do have family. They have wives, mothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, and they were just going home to go and felicitate with them. But unfortunately, they didn't make it home because they met their untimely deaths. They were actually 25 in number, but 9 were able to escape. Some were able to escape, but 16 were burnt alive. I am still in shock, sir.
Well, these are very trying times for us in Nigeria. So unfortunate that this happened. And like we said in the previous video that we had, it's saddening that people in this age still engage in mob action, jungle justice. And it's even more unfortunate that those who carried out this atrocity under the name of being a vigilante group were not actually registered. They were not recognized by the state government.
Wow.
Unfortunately, again, also, was the fact that these people were not bereft of idea of what to do in such circumstance. They knew, because their leader, after some of them had been killed, went to the police station to report the arrest of these people. And by the time the police got there, they had killed the others and burnt all of them. Those who did not escape.
At what point did the police get there?
Well, at the point it was reported to them. I'm not holding the police responsible on that score, because there must be information to be acted upon if police personnel were not at the spot of the incident, quite frankly. But those who carried out that dastardly act, they obviously are not humans. Seriously, they are not humans. Yes, we are going to come back to the own side of the story.
Yes.
And also explore some other areas that can help us to at least stop further bloodshed on this particular incident. But the point remains this. The fact that you saw some people bearing arms and with dogs does not make them criminals.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. And the fact that these people, when you confronted them, when you stopped them, if they were indeed criminals or something close to it, they had the guns, they could have started a gun war immediately when they were stopped.
Besides, they didn't even have sophisticated guns, because I want to believe
They are
that
Dane guns.
yes, Dane guns. They
Dane
had
guns.
Dane guns. I'm
Not-
sure that those kidnappers, the actual kidnappers, have more sophisticated
Well,
guns.
unfortunately, a gun is a gun.
Hmm.
It might not. It's just the kind of bullets that you put inside them, the distance they can travel, the damage they
The
can
impact,
do.
yes, the damage.
That's the
True.
difference.
Yes.
Well, if it's a Dane gun, if you shoot somebody at close range, the person is gone. Anyhow you look at it. But I do agree with you from what we have heard, from stories we have been told, those who engage in kidnapping are with sophisticated guns. They are, in fact, some of them are said to bear arms that are at the same level with those of the military.
Wow.
Yeah.
Military.
So that's why sometimes when it gets to the operational side, even the military will involve the DSS, Department of State Services, which we've learned have better weapons than the military. That's guns now, than the military. So, what those are for me, semantics. Whether it's a toy gun or it's a anything at all, once it looks like a gun, the first thing is to fear for life.
Yeah.
But in this case, the point must be well made that these people went beyond their mandate, even if they were to be registered as vigilantes. You were not in a confrontation with them. They did not dispute the arrest. They did not fight. But you said they were kidnappers. And as such, what you should do is to burn them alive. Number 1 point, 2 wrongs can never make it right. The fact that they had gun was an illegality. The fact that they burnt them was an illegality.
The fact that they had guns was an illegality. They are hunters.
Even
And
if you are
I
a
don't
hunter,
think you register those type of
you
guns,
must
do you?
you must register it. You must, no matter the kind of guns that you have, you must register it with the police. You must.
But I'm sure
You must have a license
these
to
people
carry
did not
it.
know that.
They will,
They will not be the first people to be carrying guns.
under the law, ignorance
Ah.
is no excuse.
You see, this is part of where
So-
the country or the state is failing, because you are not bringing such information to the grassroots. Because these
Unfortunately,
people are the grassroots.
no matter how you look at it, it's a basic point of law. Ignorance is not an excuse. Ignorance is not an excuse. And I can cite a lot of them where we, even the elites, we miss it. For instance, you do a third-party insurance. You didn't check your papers to know the level of coverage. Then something happens to that car outside of the level of coverage. And because you have been told that a third-party insurance has a claim, then you now walk up both there. You can't do that. So you must go back and read, no matter who you are. So ignorance is no excuse. But we must not also take the laws into our hands. And those are two plain areas where people argued when this incident happened. I saw a column written by our own revered Ruben Abati, where somebody was saying he should solely have addressed the killing of those guys. He was supporting the mob action by trying to take away from the fact that those guys were, by saying that those guys had guns with them. He's right. Even the police, in the statement it's issued, addressed the two sides. Police has 16 people with them now. DSS just arrested 2 yesterday. 16 with them. And they're going to take them on to the court of law. It's a pure murder case. Now, the police said mob justice is not allowed. It also said, on the other hand, carrying guns around is also not allowed. Even when you are bearing guns like that, you don't make it an open thing. You know? But like I said in the earlier video we did on this matter, we can't blame both sides. Again, if not for the fact that, like you just said earlier, the state is failing, the nation is failing. If you go back into media reports, in that area, Uromi area, and others around it, going towards the north of Edo and all the rest. When you read reports, you constantly see herdsmen killing people mercilessly, raping housewives. In fact, sometimes they demand for virgins, as bold as they are when they attack. So, in a situation where you have that kind of experience, if you have had a mother killed, a father killed, your sister raped, in as much as it is inexcusable and it is against the law, there is that tendency to want to react in a violent way when you see somebody, and we are still going to talk about this, who is from the same ethnic origin with the person who did that to your family. It can be traumatic. Especially when those people have been molested, shot, and killed in your presence. It can be traumatic. And that is where people are also calling out the states that you need to do your own part of the bargain for people to feel secured. People to have every sense of security and not view the other person who is of another ethnic group as a killer. Because some people, and mind you, it's been established in a lot of cases that these people who we generally assume are northerners are not even from this country. Yeah, there are people who's trading, Mali, Burkina Faso, and all the rest. But because the languages they speak seem to be similar, or we don't even understand it, we assume they are from the north, they are from Kano, they are from Borno, they are from this. We've said it over and over again. A greater majority of Nigerians are jolly go fellows who don't want trouble. They just want to be happy. They just want to live. And we are being infiltrated because our borders are porous, wide, and we don't have the kind of money that the US can muzzle to say we want to build fence all around the country.
But don't we have security personnel?
Unfortunately, when you have security personnel, how many do we have? Can they police everywhere? It is almost impossible. That is why till date, you find out that all these arms, ammunition are coming into the country because we have a wide terrain. There are some places in this country, especially in the northern area, where you can bring out other countries from them, big enough to be 2-3 countries. Big enough to be 2-3 countries. So when things are happening, do people even stop for once to think, who are these people attacking us? Are they truly northerners? These are people moving from rivers, doing legitimate jobs there. Because for them to be able to walk to the park with their ding guns, enter into a bus, and be traveling,
But
there must be some
that's
form
another
of,
thing now.
there must have been some form of
If they did go to a park,
passage for them.
if they did go to a park and got into commercial buses to travel, at the point of them, at that point, why were they not stopped or harassed or
Maybe
why
those,
was
maybe,
it?
maybe those who attended to them had a better understanding of who they are. Had a better understanding of who they are. Even if they did so at an illegal park, they have been passing through checkpoints. For you to go from Rivers to Edo, they wouldn't have met less than 10, 15, 20 checkpoints. It is just the happenings around that area. The ESA Development Association, which is the umbrella association of people from that area, because that place, Uromi and it's surrounded, are known as ESA land. They issued a statement, and that addressed the two sides of the issue, just like the police did and Ruben Abati did in his column, and which I also did yesterday. I mean, when we had this discussion, when I took it up, you don't allow people to have a free reign in a country like ours. The people there are feeling certain pains. Herdsmen have been attacking us. Wrongly or rightly, they are from the north. So you now see anybody of northern origin, you now say, yes, they are the ones. Those are not those who attacked you.
Exactly.
They are not. And then what you did next was to kill them. It doesn't make it right.
16.
But
how do you even
it doesn't
stand
make
and
it right.
stay to burn?
But our government will need to do better than we are doing now.
And very fast too.
And very fast too. In that axis, some months back, there was an attack on a unit of one of our security agencies, because those people believed that it was northerners who came dressed in their uniform to attack again. Because it's been happening. You just see it, 7 killed, 8 killed, 10 killed. Those two are human beings. And that's the point the ESA Development Association made. You won't understand our pains. We don't support these guys who did this, but you won't understand our pains until when you see your mom raped, your dad shot in front of the family, your virgin sister, they will demand for virgins and rape them, sleep with them. They will take some people away, demand for ransom. And that's where the government has failed in its own responsibility. Now the people are also challenging the police. Say, okay, fine. You are very fast in coming to arrest these 16 people. 14 as at then. What has happened to all our complaints about these people infiltrating our communities, killing and maiming people, and demanding ransom? It's a big question, and that's what we are taking to the government.
Because if that had been tackled,
yes, there wouldn't have been this suspicion.
Yes, and the situation would have
and
been
people would not have formed themselves into illegal vigilantes, because every vigilante is registered by the government, but this one isn't.
So how are we even sure that it's a vigilante?
Because their leader went to report at the police station.
Oh yes, true.
So government should wake up to its responsibilities. When people complain, the answer we should not be hearing is silence. The answer we want is action. And like the governor of Kano State demanded when he met with the governor of Edo State, that's Abba Yusuf now meeting with Monday Okabolo. Let people see those you have arrested. Let them know that you actually worked. Governor Yusuf is saying, see, we need to see those you have arrested paraded, so that we are sure that you are not just giving us figures.
Yes.
These people truly exist.
And we need to even follow the investigation,
And follow
not
it.
something that will die down after
Not
a
something
while.
that
We
you
need
will
to
say,
see this particular one to
we
the
have
end.
taken them to court and we don't
Yes.
even know which court, we don't know anything. So when issues of somebody invaded my community and they fled into the forest comes, we want answers. These were the people who did it. These are people who are not spirits. And they keep doing it until a time when they feel, okay, we've exhausted, let's go somewhere else. Or some of them are arrested, but we never get to hear so much about it.
There was even the allegation that whenever they are arrested, they are always left alone. After a while, they release them again. Some of those were some of the complaints.
So those are the
from
things that the government must address. You can't afford to leave a people complaining all of the time about the same thing. They'll just come, block the highway, take some people away, and demand for 200 million, demand for 30 million. And it's just rampant in Edo State because from the south or southeast, people see it as a safer path for criminals to escape. And that is not good enough for the country. We must see government being responsive. It shouldn't be when there is problem alone that we see activities. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. There must be something to give us the assurance. Because, like they said, where your own right stops is where my own starts. Yeah. You can't say to me that Section 30, Sections 33, 34, 41, and 42 of the Constitution guarantees my right to life, right to dignity of human person, right to freedom of movement, and right to be free from discrimination, and not add to it the fact that the government, going by Section 14, subsection 2b, also owes me the duty to ensure my safety and welfare. The moment you can't do that, then you can't guarantee the right of the person who wants to kill me. We've had some cases where people have actually called out the government. For instance, somebody attacks you with a knife. You are stronger than the person. You take the knife. The person has already injured you and is not giving up. So if you take the knife only and you don't try to also get that person disarmed in a way that he won't be able to attack you again. If that person dies in that process, because you used the knife, the least you can get from a judge will be manslaughter. So if you don't have a good lawyer, self-defense will not be enough plea for you to get away from it.
I'm not the one that brought the knife. It's the person that brought the knife. The person has already injured me.
Yes.
I'm trying to save myself.
Yes.
In the process.
But if that happens, you also use the knife.
Just to defend myself.
I'm saying if you don't have a good lawyer and a good alibi, nobody gets out of it.
Wow.
It's manslaughter, which in the minimum will be 7 years. So all of these things are there. But we're now saying, government, please guarantee our security so that we don't descend into this kind of pits. Number two, for me also, as a takeaway from this, is the fact that the government has allowed so much discrimination to exist among Nigerians, where we begin to label some ethnic groups, religion, in a negative way. It's a big issue that the National Retention Agency is trying to confront. That when I see you, I should see you as a Nigerian, not as a Nadana, exactly. Not as a Christian, not as a Muslim. So many years back, Yoruba comedian Gbenga Adeboye, he said something that was very germane. He said in Nigeria, the way we go about it is, somebody is a Northerner, somebody is a Southerner. Then we now come to the South and say, you are from the Southeast. You are from the south. You are from. We are labeling. Then we now come back to the southwest, and I will say, you are Ijesha. You are Egba. Once we begin to narrow down our differences, which is not good enough for us. And that is why you now begin to see some videos moving around. Some northerners saying they are ready to kill Christians.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
we should talk about that.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's something I find very curious. That some people are as dumb as not knowing that in every state and every community, every family, you have Muslims and Christians. You have people who decided that as an Emeka, I don't want to marry Ngozi, I want to marry Amina. We are not saying that yet because a lot of people have. That is why some parents, they won't allow their children to marry from some ethnic groups. Because when issues like this occur, where do they fall?
Exactly. And then some of those parents had bad experiences.
I agree.
Maybe Biafra war, maybe all of this
agree with you.
So they are like,
but
no.
Must we live all of our lives that way? For instance, I used to have a brother-in-law. He's late now. He has lived the whole of his life in Kano. The whole, better part of his life in Kano. He's from Kwara State. When he died, he already had a house in Ofa, Kwara State. His wife and children refused to leave Kano. They are still there till date. He's been dead now over 3 years.
He's from Kwara now.
Yes, he's from Kwara.
He's a northerner.
But no. Do you know his name? He's a Muslim who is from Kwara State.
Exactly. So he can blend very well. Imagine if it was somebody from Ogun State. I can show you a Christian.
I can show you a lot of people who are from Ogun State or your state, especially, who are residing in the north. There was a time I went into the old Sokoto state, and I had an encounter with a local government chairman who had me speaking Yoruba. And he came to me and shook me and said, a lot of them who had education then and who are from the southwest, or your state specifically, that is the Ogbomoso axis, a lot of them are holding political positions in Sokoto State. Why? Because they've been there almost all their lives. The people don't see them again as Southerners. They see them as part of them. They are educated, so they trust them to put them in positions of authority. That's what we are saying about one Nigeria. That's what we are saying about it.
I'm glad you said educated. You know, most of the people causing these problems, they are not educated.
And that is why people are saying to our leaders, educate your people. I also quoted the 16th Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, yesterday. He said, guys, you calm down. There is no problem. The governor has promised us in Edo State that justice will be done. So why do you want to retaliate? People must be brought to the knowledge of the fact that this Edo State, in which they are saying Christians killed Muslims, is a mixed society. The percentage of Christians in Edo State as of 2022 figures show that there were 31.6% Christians in Edo State. 31.6 out of a whole 100.
So what happened to the rest?
Muslims, 25.8. When you go to the northern part of Edo State, likely Muslims. That's why you can find an Adams or Shiomole, who is a Muslim. He's Adams. Everybody will identify Adams with Christianity. That is why you find a lot of people. I have friends from that part of the country. I can keep mentioning names who combine both Christianity and Islam. And in that same state, you have people who still do traditional religion.
Yes, they do.
15.1%. So when somebody now wakes up and brandishes a cutlass on a video and says they are going to kill all Christians in the north, so does he assume that all of those who perpetrated this injustice in Edo State were Christians? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So
And
as long as they are Southerners, as
Yes,
long as
as
they
long
are
as
not
they-
Northerners.
And they are referring to everybody as Christians.
Exactly.
We'll kill all these Christians. We'll kill them in Sokoto. These people should get some education and know that even in states that are regarded as Christian states, these are wrong notions. Wrong notions. I can't even understand where they got this from. Even Plateau, that has a lot of Christians, falls in the north. The states around it also has a large population of Christians. That is why in those states, most of the time, you see that Christians emerge as governors and control the levels of governance. So when people being all of this is a Christian, he's from the north, I wonder where it comes from. There are some Yoruba people who are even more fluent in Hausa than their own language.
Yeah, true.
And then you have there are some Southeasterners that I know, and some from the South. The Yoruba proverbs that I don't know, they know it. Because we've mixed enough for us to see ourselves as one. Yeah. And then what we now need to do is to fight the enemy, not ourselves. Even if you are from the north, or let me use myself, if you are from the south and you perpetrate any injustice, I will aid your prosecution and conviction. I will not say that he's a Yoruba man, so we must protect. That is wrong.
Exactly.
Or we say because one man who is from the north did something, and then every northerner I see on the street is now a thief.
Because I'm sure it's not even all the northerners that, are in support of all this killing. But, from one of the videos that I even saw, the guy who was threatening, he said it's a commandment. That is one of my worries about these people, because they don't see it as doing anything bad, because they feel like it is a commandment, is a religious commandment, and it must be carried out.
Christians living in northern Nigeria are being threatened as we speak. Muslims in northern Nigeria want to kill the Christians in northern Nigeria.
Duk wani bahaushen mu da sai yana kure tattaro ya dawo gida yaki za a yi fa in qataluukum faqtuluhum kadhalika jazaa'ul kafirin. Na rantse muku da girman Allah idan ku faɗa kuke mu da ma muna sakkwato kuma sakkwato ne tushen farawa. Mu za mu fara sai ku karasa din. Mu za mu taso rigima insha Allah daga ƙarshe sai ku kama mana idan za ku iya kama mana. Ku bari ku ji. Za mu kashe ku. Na rantse muku da girman Allah ni a shirye nake duk wanda yake jin ya shirya yanzu ya mun magana mu je mu tattauna mu sami tun mu ga yaushe wata rana za mu fita operation. Tunda haka kuke so a yi sai a yi. Daga nan Sokoto za mu fara kona su muna fara kashe su tukunna sai Kano a dauka daga nan a wuce Jos duk inda wani kafiri yake za mu kulkulo shi mu yanka shi wallahi za mu kwakulo shi mu yanka shi. Yawa wannan shine gobe sallah ko bikin sallan ma ba za a yi ba.
Muslims in northern Nigeria want to kill the Christians in northern Nigeria. I am saying this thing now. If you need to forward this message to security agencies, if they are pretending that they don't know what is happening on the social media, forward it to them. I have gotten death threats for simply coming out to talk about the Uromi killing. I wasn't justifying it though. I said it is wrong. And somebody said, if they blow whistle, he will kill me first. Because I am a Christian. And because people who killed their brothers in Uromi are Christians. Who told you that Uromi does not have a mixture of Christian and Muslims? These are the conversations that we need to have in northern Nigeria. I try to promote peaceful coexistence in northern Nigeria, showcase the most beautiful part of northern Nigeria in the best way I can. But in situations like this, I will lend my voice to say the Muslims in northern Nigeria are not doing justice to this. I see a lot of you come out to say this is condemnable. Oh yes, the government should take action. You are giving the government ultimatum to take action. It is good. It is fantastic. Can you also touchlight those Muslims who are inciting violence in their localities? We who live in comfortable areas, who do not live in the slums, are not going to face most of these things. But people who will face it are those ones who live in the slums. Before security agencies get to them, things beyond our control would have happened. People come out now with knives on social media to say they are going to kill Christians. And I'm not seeing anybody say anything about it. Nobody's justifying the killing in Uromi. I did not justify it, but I was said, like, people is here on my comment section. I will post some of them so you can see. Welding knives and saying they are ready. Ready to do what? Gone are those days that in northern Nigeria you have religious crisis. Now, it can never happen again. That one-sided, people are going to be killing another person to a lie. No, it's gone. It's gone. In Plateau State, it has happened. In Kano, it has happened. The very moment you hear an event happen in one place, it picks up in northern Nigeria. Because our people are not educated. They don't even know what's happening. The very moment somebody just tell them, see, they've killed people somewhere, they are trying to attack Islam, finish. People are fighting. A lot of Christians are afraid to live within their within some communities in northern Nigeria, because any small thing now, they will come and kill you. Oh, we'll come and kill you, we'll come and kill you. I've lived 6 years in Kano. I live peacefully with Muslims. These ones I'm seeing on TikTok, I don't see them because me and them do not mingle in the same circle. But I see them on TikTok here. And guess what? There are people who are within their localities who are Christians that are vulnerable. Nigerian government, this is them for you to take action. No? Don't sit down, fold your arms until this thing happens. These people do not understand we are taking action. These people do not understand we are taking. Go out and clear warning. Say, don't come out or do anything. That's what we want. I beg. Let this message spread. The lives of Christians in northern Nigeria is in danger. And one thing I know that is going to happen is there's going to be a retaliation, because if Muslims start to attack Christians in northern Nigeria, Christians will retaliate. Please, let us do the needful. There are a lot of things we need to uncover about northern Nigeria. I am trying every day, one topic at a time, to educate people about northern Nigeria. But one thing I'm telling you for now, this is a whistle blowing. This is fire alarm. Do with this information what you will. I don't talk my own.
This has nothing to do with religion. In all ramifications, that's why I said a lot of ignorance is going around. And when you hear those who know, which is where the point I've come to, and I say, people do selective listening. They don't pay attention to what is important. It is only the destructive ones that they pay attention to. How many times has the Sultan of Sokoto, who is the head of this Islamic community in Nigeria, spoken about these things, that these people should become enlightened? I listened to a sheikh who was preaching just some days back. And he said nobody should come to him and tell him that his fellow Muslim will do him more good than a Christian will do. He said there was a day they were traveling and their car got stuck in a ditch. And everybody was coming and zooming past them. They would just zoom, zoom, and they are gone, zoom, and they are gone. Then at a point, a jeep passed and stopped. Out of that car came a fully clothed pastor. Wow. Who told everybody, they also were dressed with their regalia, going for a function, told everybody in the jeep to come down. They tied the rope and said, oh yeah, push, and they got that car out. He said that for him is a lifelong lesson, something we'll never forget. The person who comes to your aid is the one who is your religious mate, is the one who is from your ethnic group, not the one who sees you in trouble and leaves you because you don't do the same religion. And that's what our people are failing to understand. I married from a Muslim family. My father-in-law went to Hajj. I did my own part there. I did not say because he's going to worship another god. I don't know how many gods we have.
Big.
I did my own part. And I still will not say I'm not a part of that family. Now let me just take my wife and run away with her. She has not changed her name till today. It's still the same name she's bearing. No baptism can change that name because that's her name. So a lot of people don't look. You even need to see some families where the mother and father are of different faiths. The way they go about it, the mother sticks to being a Christian or a Muslim, and then they grow the children in a way that you are even so impressed. I went to school with a lady from one of such families when I did my national diploma at the Polytechnic in Ibadan. You just need to go to this family and see the way father and mother, how they relate. The mother is a Christian, but she knows how to pray.
Oh, wow.
In the Islamic. Yeah. So she does her 5 prayers every day.
So when does she
So
get
if
time
you go
to
to
be
her house,
a Christian?
You said?
So when does
she goes to
get the
church
time?
on Sunday. She goes on Wednesdays for evening service. But she said, no, I belong to this place. I can't run away from it. They don't fight over what name they call those children. They don't. So I sometimes wonder where people act out of ignorance. That you must only marry people from your ethnic group. You must only marry people of your faith. And those people are not doing you any good. Can we nail and identify those who are giving us problem? They are not northerners. They are by their name. They are not northerners. Any criminal has a name. We shouldn't be labeling people as Christians, as Muslims, as Southerners and Northerners when they commit atrocities. We should name them what they are, criminals. That's who they are. And not associate one event with a whole ethnic group or a whole religion. Our people they have a lot of work to do, especially our religious leaders. And then our traditional rulers too. A lot to do.
And that's why I said grassroots. If they could take this message to the, to the local worship place, especially the mosque, that Muslims, they don't joke with their prayers, and no matter who you are, whether you're a chairman somewhere or you're a shoemaker, or whether everybody's entering the mosque, So if they could just take this message to the mosque, I'm sure they will definitely listen and keep preaching this message. Unfortunately, they will hear.
Unfortunately, just like it is also on the side of the Christian. These people who perpetrate these atrocities, they are not even religious. They don't even attend services. They just sit somewhere and live with the belief that this is what we were told. Check it out. Ask those people questions. Where are they on Fridays when the sheikhs are preaching? Where are they on Sundays when the pastors are preaching? You will see that they'll be somewhere.
Because
outside
that's
listening.
what someone was commenting that, this incident that happened on Friday, so that day now, some of the people that perpetrated this evil, did they now later go back to
the mosque to go and pray?
And or then did they go to church on Sunday
to go and pray? They will.
Wow.
Because they would have justified what they have done based on their wrong belief. It's a different ball game when you know exactly what the Quran or the Bible says. Both are not far from the other.
Exactly. Yeah.
The stories that you see in the Bible about the prophets, they are still largely the same you are going to see in the Quran. Those people will sit somewhere. They will say, this is what this is what the Holy Book says, because we add it. And when you go back to the person they said they add it from, the person will repeat it and it will not be the same as they are saying, because they were not even present in the first place to even listen properly. And that's why when some of us who had the opportunity of covering some of these protests, massive protests, or some groups that were religion based, we saw into it that these people were actually not true to their faith. For instance, because it's a question we've asked, if truly a group like Boko Haram is fighting for the religion that it says it wants to, why will it stop people from getting Western education? And let me tell you where we tied it to. The gun that you are using to fight is not Ding gun. It was modernized and developed into what you are using now. How did they get to that point?
Exactly.
Education. When you get injured, we see Panadol, we see bandages in your camp. What developed it? People who had education.
And they are wearing clothes.
You are wearing clothes. Unfortunately also, we see so many pills, including the one that you always talk about. We see it in that camp. Who developed it? They have the local one that they call Burantashi. But you even see the ones made.
Imagine.
Who developed all of those tablets? The Quran that we are carrying around, the Bible that we are carrying around, some people sat down to write it into the form we are seeing today, printed it, started distributing to us to be able to share the knowledge. How did they do it if you weren't educated? I mean, those are loopholes you see in this argument. So how did they come about the fact that Western education will corrupt? The microphone, the social media, the TV stations you are using to do these things. Where did it come from? Is this not from education? So a lot of questions, people don't actually sit down. They just, out of ignorance, make certain pronouncements. But the most germane for now is to ensure that all of these people who are perpetrating this reprisal or threatening this reprisal, this counter-attack to kill here, to kill there, they should ensure that they bring them down and stop the threats. It's important so that we can have a country.
Carry out the threats.
Yes, so that we can have a country.
They were threatening 48 hours, and I'm sure
so that we can have a country. If not, we won't have a country. Because once it starts in the north, you are very sure that those in the south will also take it on themselves to start the killings. We are one country. Yeah, we should identify those who are dividing us. Those are the people we should deal with. My submission.
A very, very good submission. Okay, that's what we have for you today, and I hope that the government will get to see this video. And I'm sure we are not the only people, talking about this. Other people are talking about it as well. So the government needs to do the needful. Please, we need to feel safe in our own country. Yeah. We need the government to take action and take action fast. Just like my boss has said, we need to, bring out these people perpetrating this evil. Whoever they are. Let's not say it's the north, it's the south, it's Igbo, it's outside, it's Yoruba. No, let's fish them out. Let's feed them individually and see who they are. And then we even get to know whether they are even Nigerians or, like we said, maybe they are even people from Chad, Niger, or all this, This thing has gone on too long, and it's better that we take care of it before it gets too late. Yeah. We cannot afford another war, another Biafra war, anything like that. Please, let us do the needful. And then talking to my fellow people, violence is never the way. Jungle justice is never the way. That is why we have security personnel everywhere. Let us report. This is even, this is a case aside on its own. We hear of people killing thieves, burning thieves. This person stole, this person did this, and you just kill them and burn them. We shouldn't be doing that. We have police for that. If you catch somebody, take them to the police station or so. Let's stop jungle justice. You know, let's stop jungle justice. It could be somebody you know tomorrow. Because if we do the what is it, the census or whatever, we find out that all these people that are being killed, it's not all of them that are actual thieves. Oh, it is not all of them that are actually guilty of the crime that they were accused of. We remember the Alu 4 now. You know, we cannot forget all these things. It's high time for the government to stand up and take control and let the citizens begin to feel safe, because nobody is feeling safe in this country anymore, and it's getting worse by the day. Please let us do the needful. I beg. Please like this video and share it to the authorities so that they can do something. And also follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe so that you get notifications when we come out with new updates for you.
Yeah,
We'll see you next time.
See you.